Welcome to the World Junior Ultimate Championship. Welcome to the World Junior Ultimate Championships in Lecco, Italy. I'm Liam Rosen. That's Brian Jones. We're here on a sunny morning after some heavy rains yesterday. Closed the fields.
Yeah, the fields were down yesterday. We didn't see any games stream. It's good to be back here, Liam.
We've got Austria versus Italy in the U19 women's division. This is an elimination round quarterfinal matchup. These two teams played each other last year in the semifinals of the European Youth Ultimate Championships in Germany. That was a very close game, and let's hope we can see another cracker here today.
Should be a good one in this quarterfinal matchup. Both teams are excited to try to move on to get top 4 at this tournament.
So you see Italy now taking the line. Coach Piero Pisano, the Alligators, is giving some last-minute instructions to his team. Let's take a look at some keys to the game, Brian. Before we start, what does Italy need to do to compete in this game?
Really, their mindset has to be coming in with a lot of confidence. They have to have, the coaches said they needed to have good feelings of this game, no pressure for them to come through. And then looking on the other side, they're very concerned with Kreins and Petersdorfer. It's going to be very key players for the Austrian squad, and they want to switch up defensive looks. Force middle, force sideline, different types of zones. We saw earlier a 4-person cup. It's probably going to change throughout this game.
Italy's coach was over here scouting some of the players before the game. Let's take a look now as well at what Austria has to do to win this one.
You know, Austria's key to the game. They really want to slow Italy down. They said specifically the coaches, they want to get Italy to be throwing passes after stall 4. They want to keep it fun and intense, and they're going to utilize a junk zone to help slowing down that Italian offense.
So the pull goes up, short pull will land just out of bounds.
Vertical stack for Austria, but it looks like Italy's wasting no time coming in with a zone look.
Julia Schmeiser will bring the disc to the brick mark.
4-person cup for Italy. You can see the 4 people surrounding the disc, the 2 hammer stops, and then the deep.
Schmeiser immediately moves it to the break side to Kreins. There's Kreins, Schmeiser, and Brechko, the captain of the team, working in the handler set. Austria already being pushed back. Finds some space on the sideline into Hopper.
Austria choosing to go with a lot of handlers back instead of attacking upfield, and they're going to utilize the dump swing to beat this zone.
Schmeiser finding Wuti for the one-handed grab. Brechko swings. Italy's actually going into a man defense now as Austria takes off.
Good transition, allows the defense to get set.
Just 10 meters outside the end zone. Petersdorfer, blade to space, and Austria's on the board for their first goal.
Little pressure there by the Italian zone on the Austrians. You can tell offensively they could handle it. They utilized the dump swing to get the disc to the sideline and find the open receiver. From there, after the transition to man defense, it was no problem for the Austrians to dump swing and find the open look in the end zone.
It was Petersdorfer on the assist to number 4, Sandra Neely. Petersdorfer, we mentioned earlier in the keys to the game, Italy was purposely scouting her. They were asking us before the game, who is number 17, trying to make sure they had that number right so they can get their best defender on her. She played for the under-23 women's division and was the top scorer in that division in Toronto among all women's teams. She's been playing Ultimate for a long time, grew up playing against boys, so she's a very, very tough player.
Playing in Vienna for Mantis in club. Coach is definitely saying that's why she's so tough playing against those boys. And we saw that earlier, too, from Sweden. Actually, a couple of girls playing for the Swedish boys team at this tournament, and they could surely hang.
So Austria now with their first chance on defense after putting in the first point.
Expect to see a junk look here, really a 3-person man on the handlers and then 4 people behind the disc there. You see 2 guarding the unders, 2 defenders, and 2 deep. Well, a clam defense trying to slow down this Italian squad.
Scagliarini working with Cipriani as the zone handlers. Italy's disc movement has slowed down. This is exactly what Austria wants.
Italy likes to push the pace in offense. Very quick, utilize the unders, then the hucks. The Austrian coaches seem to be very attuned to what they were going to do, saying they were going to look deep first, then under, and then deep again.
Ricci is stuck, finally gets the high release backhand off.
Malega with the disc, and she's been absolutely important to this Italian team. Critical in the backfield, also with a lot of height to get discs that float.
Malega finding the holes in the cup, but Italy needs to keep that continuation on.
Open space downfield. Italy not able to find it. Junk looked frustrating.
Moving now with a bit of a dominator set. Malega, if that's that same throw, it's a blade to the end zone. It's Scazzieri with the point, so Italy answers right back to tie it up 1-1.
With Malega, when you're that tall, you're able to get those hucks off, or we could call it a shot to the out or the back of the end zone. You don't have any problems with the mark. You have free range to do it. The dominator sets up the open movement for Malega, shoots it to the end zone for the easy goal.
If you're just joining us, this is Skyd Magazine's coverage of the World Junior Ultimate Championships. This is a quarterfinals matchup, so the team that loses this game will be eliminated from contention. Send us your tweets as always. You can find me as we see again the deep shot to Scazzieri. You can find me, Liam Rosen. I'm at Skyd_Liam Rosen. That's SKYD_LIAMROSEN. You can find Brian Jones on Twitter at @no_look_scuba.
The throw we just saw from Malega, something that can be done here in the women's division. You have the arcing blades to the back of the end zone. I think if you're Austria, you like that throw. You like what the junk zone did there. It's going to be important for them to be able to switch out of it if Italy solves it.
This pole looks like it's going to float out of bounds, lands just out of bounds, so Austria will take the brick. Sara Brečko, the captain of the U19 team. She just spent a year in New Zealand playing with New Zealand women's team Artemis that let her gain some international experience. Italy's still running the same zone.
Shifting off a bit now, staying closer to the handlers with a deep, and they get the turnover.
Immediate miscommunication. Receiver was not on the same page as Brečko. So Italy now with a chance to break. Frangipani finding Scazzieri. Looks like there was a call, so disc is going back.
Pick downfield. Defender will catch up.
Frangipani with it again. Cut coming off the back of the stack. Near defense, but receiver picks it up. Scagliarini gets the dump off to Malega.
Austria frustrating the handler movement.
Malega with the break to Scazzieri.
Italy doing a good job there of creating space in the end zone, and Austria's going to have to catch on. As we go throughout this game, Italy has no dumps in the backfield, which means there's space for Malega to use her length and be able to put it to either side of the field with that vertical stack. It's very hard as a defender to guard the front of the stack in isolation like they did. Great offense by Italy, gives them the 2-1 lead.
And a couple of zones so far from both teams. It might be a battle of the zones in this game, Brian.
It's going to be a battle of a bunch of different defensive looks. The thing for Italy is they're prepared to do that, prepared to run multiple looks, and you saw a second one already in the second point of the game. They started a look that looked like a 4-person cup and then went out of it. It threw a couple of poaches with man defense, put more pressure on Austria. Austria, however, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to adjust out of their junk zone look. they're going to have to be careful for Italy. If Italy adjusts on offense, that would be a big advantage for them going forward. We talked about Malega before. At the end zone, commanding it. She's the captain of this squad and was in the national junior team in 2011. That height really helps to break the mark.
So Austria again working it against the zone. Schmeisser now. The drop from Austria. That's the second mistake, and Italy will look to take advantage.
Italy making Austria think a little bit too much.
Hard marks from Austria. Malega tries to get the throw off, but Monaco can't catch up to it.
Very impressive so far with Italy. That look, Liam, was started out as a zone look and transitioned to man after the first throw. So with the person-to-person defense, you get a lot more pressure, but also the same effect of making them think.
Italy sticking with the person-to-person. Schmeisser throws it right out of bounds. A couple mistakes early in this point from both teams.
Execution isn't there for Austria. They need to settle down mentally and just relax and play their game.
Malega, near sideline. Gets the dump off to Scazzieri. Scazzieri disc into space for Frangipane. Frangipane dumps to Malega. Malega backhanded. It's D'd by Austria.
When your offense isn't working, let your defense get you back in the game.
Austria's going to put it deep right away. Lena Kreins was wide open, but she can't get the hand on it. And that's something that Austria's offense is based on. That's something that Coach Valentin Vogel brought to this team. He believes that throwing it deep will be the key to Austria's success.
It can open up things underneath even if there isn't any completions.
Schmeisser almost with the D, but it's Italy still working it. Frangipane now with it. Working it up.
So many
Far
players.
sideline. It looks like there's an injury on the field.
So as we take a look at the injury, so many players on this Italian team, Liam, are from 2009 or 2011. A lot of experience, and you can see that it shows throughout this entire line. Malega, Scazzieri, Frangipane have all been playing for a long time, and it's no surprise.
Gruesome injury on the floor as she was banging her fist in frustration. That's Malega, Italy's key handler.
That would be a big loss. Hope she's okay.
Looks like something on that right foot.
Often an ankle. Let's hope that it's only temporary.
And this is going to be a big mental hit for Italy. They talked before the game. They need to stay mentally strong. This is the first chance they're going to have to finish in that top four. They finished 5th place in Dublin 2 years ago. So they need to keep the energy positive and stay mentally strong. Ricci throws it deep into the stack, and it's D'd by Julia Hopper.
Hopper allows Austria to hang tough when the offense isn't clicking. This is a good sign for a mentally ready team.
Schmeisser now back with the disc. Nice cut from Kreins. A bit of luck saved again by Kluy. Looks like there was a call.
But if she had the disc.
Discussion going on downfield as we can hear through the mics. There's a foul called on the receiver who did not catch the disc. The Italian defender saying, I uncontested the play, the disc should be yours. A little confusion. It's going to stay with the Austrian receiver.
So it stays with Kluy. Kluy immediately finds Schmeisser on the dump. Schmeisser swings and another overthrow. And this point is getting very messy with a couple of turns on each end. Timeout called by the Italians. And they'll try to get their heads back in the game after the injury to Malega. Meanwhile, Brian and I will take a short pause here at the World Junior Ultimate Championships. We'll be back with you in a moment. Back here after that timeout. So both teams will look to focus on completing possessions. There's been 3 unforced errors on each side.
It's a double-edged sword with this timeout. If you're Italy, Austria was giving the disc away, but their defense has been very good. Would not be surprised to see Austria's defense continue that streak, get the disc back, and for them to have settled down.
Disc back in, Ricci to Scagliarini.
Straight up mark from Austria, wants to prevent the Hucks.
Scagliarini, another unforced error.
As much as I'm unimpressed with the Austrian offense, the defense is keeping it in check.
And that is going to be a call, I believe. Checking to make sure she was in. And Haubenwallner making the argument that she towed the line. Italy, not sure about that. Sideline didn't see it. It looks like the disc will stay, so that's going to be a goal for Austria. Austria converts that point. Game is tied up 2-2.
Shot works out. Austria is going to have to be more effective on offense if that's what they're going to rely on. Defense will be able to pick it up early, but that was a long point for your mainstay line. It's going to be a battle of attrition throughout this game. Italy on the other side, hope Malega is okay because that's going to be a big loss if she cannot play throughout the rest of this game.
Here in Lecco, it's a sunny day, almost no wind. Flags there behind you are barely moving. It's about 23 degrees Celsius in Lecco, 10:30 a.m. local time. Greetings to those watching from Italy and Austria. Don't skip out too much on work watching this early morning Friday game.
If you feel like it, we have also Germany. We're finally showing Germany versus Canada in the open division later on. Semi-final matchup.
German fans will be very happy about that. They've been waiting for a German stream all week. So Italy now receiving the pole from Austria.
I feel like it was a big part of navigating the junk zone. And person-to-person defense from Austria.
We talked before about switching up those defensive looks. It's hucked deep. Frangipani has position. It looks like she's not in. So Italy will set up their end zone. And it's dumped back to Cipriani. It's looking a bit chaotic there for Italy in the end zone. And not a high percentage choice. It looks like the disc is actually going to come back. There was a call. Not sure what that call was.
Could be a stall call. It was a high count.
Possibly a travel. In any case, Cipriani has the disc again and probably wants to go for a bit of a higher percentage look this time. And she tries the hammer. Frangipani with it. It's D by Austria, but Frangipani controls, and Italy with a bit of luck 2 times in a row.
When in doubt, put it up for Frangipani, the Spirit captain. Was part of the national junior team in 2009. Comes out first, makes that deep catch, and then no problem by Cipriani. Decides to float it out there, and when you're that tall, it can make a huge difference.
This group of Italian girls has been playing together for a long time. The base of this team is from Bologna, plays with the club team CUSP CSB Bologna Shout. The club series, they've been women's champions of Italy the past 2 years, giving their juniors players a lot of experience. We asked them before the game, is there any pressure for being in the host country? They said the only pressure on them is trying to make it into the semis. They've been unable to crack that mark so far, and they've been hovering around the quarterfinal spot, have never made it past. So Austria now on offense, down 2-3. Plechko to Meisel. Austrian stack is very deep as Italy sets up the zone.
A different zone look than what we've seen. Not quite a 4-person cup, 3 people around the disc, and then a person-to-person defense on the offside handler.
Austria flowing well against the zone. Steingruber looking for Petersdorfer. Petersdorfer flicks it to Keinsmeier. Back to Petersdorfer, one-handed grab.
Seamless transition to person-to-person defense by Italy. Very well prepared for this game.
Austria, though, all their downfield cuts are coming at the same time. Plechko finding Petersdorfer in isolation at the front of the stack.
Very flat mark. Petersdorfer, no problem getting the break off.
Austria still dumping and swimming. No look pass. Petersdorfer loses her balance but recovers.
Field has been waterlogged with rain. We've seen a couple players slip.
Meisel pivoting, trying to break. Looking up line, forced to get the inside-out dump pass off. Layout save from Austria. Larissa Steingruber keeps it alive. Steingruber immediate dump to Meisel. Meisel overthrows the receiver, Christine Kramer.
Pretty characteristic for how this game has gone for this Austrian offense. A lot of overthrows to open receivers.
Italy with a chance to extend the lead to 2. Frangipane bringing the disc up to the line. They'll run the immediate, actually deep shot to Scazzieri. She's got position. Scazzieri lays out to secure that one. It looks like she dropped it. So an athletic bid from Scazzieri, but drops the disc on impact, and that's going to be a down disc. Austria takes a timeout here in Lecco, Italy, at our coverage of the World Junior Ultimate Championships.
Sky D. Sky magazine. Sky magazine. It's Sky. It's Sky. Sky. Sky magazine. Sky D. Sky D. Or Sky. Sky. Sky D. Sky. One word. Sky. No, you say Sky. Sky magazine. Sky magazine. It's okay. Sky. Sky magazine. Yes. Ja, voilà.
So coming in here after the timeout, another point with multiple turns from both teams.
Italy's had trouble converting on defense, and it's going to be very valuable for them to get the first break. Austria's offense has been inconsistent, giving Italy a lot of chances. But now with Milego off the field, who's usually the go-to handler in these situations, Italy has had a very difficult time on marching down the field.
Well, Prechko will check it back in, tries for the immediate break, but Meissel donks it off with one hand.
Italy's been the more consistent team on these dump swings. Austria offense is getting themselves into trouble.
Frangipani, long swing and a high release backhand over the top to Scazzieri. Looks like, though, there was a call, possibly a pick in the stack.
Defender will catch up.
Scazzieri, though, still with quite a bit of position. Cecilia Scagliarini, the shout player, puts it up again. It's a backhand, and Austria doesn't contain the look 2 times in a row and lets Italy get the point. 4-2, Italy over Austria.
Important break early. Austria has not adjusted or settled down on offense, and Italy doing exactly what they wanted to do from the start. Confuse Austria with multiple looks, make them swing the disc, make them be perfect, and Austria has been unable to do so. Italy with the right strategy to take the lead early in this game.
Both teams, though, need to clean up their game. There's been too many unforced errors. Very few of the Ds have come on active looks or deep shots. They've been short field turnovers. We see again the high release backhand to Scazzieri, her second point of the game.
Not sure if the pass was even intended for Scazzieri, as we see the other receiver come into the picture. Scazzieri faked to the fore side, came right back to where the original look was before the pick call, wide open. The Austrian awareness wasn't great on that play.
Coach Valentin Vögel, you see there on your screen, coach of the Austrian U19 women's team since 2012.
Talking to the coaches before the game of Italy, asking them if there were any pressure on them being the host country, and they said no. For them, they didn't know where they would exactly land, whether it be 5 through 8 finishing or a chance for the top 4. They're excited to have that opportunity now.
So Italy now in a zone again. Austria working against it to Schmeisser.
Just great transitions from this Italian defense. It's been very good so far.
Petersdorfer, beautiful flick to space, and that's more of what Austria needs on offense. Getting it done easy.
It's important for the offense to get in a rhythm. Italy's been showing multiple looks, and they may run out. You have to be comfortable on offense. You need confidence, and you need to not hesitate. The more thinking you do, the more tense you are, and the more you think you need to make a big play, the worse teams often do.
Notable on that play, the 2 girls involved were the 2 that Italy has looked to contain. You see Petersdorfer with the flick to space for Lena Kreins, number 49 on your screen with the reception. Lena is the youngest player on this Austrian roster, but one of the most promising talents. She's also the main puller. Coming up next is our semifinal matchup in the U19 Open Division, Canada versus Germany. Make sure to stick around for that.
The other side of the men's bracket, we have Italy versus the USA at the other semifinal, Italy beating Israel. We will not be streaming that game.
Pull stays in bounds. Italy now with it, looking for the long. It's there, it's gonna keep floating, but too far for the receivers to catch up to.
I'm a little confused here from Austria. They know that Italy wants to huck the disc, but yet all of the defenders are forcing the receivers out and giving them the deep space and not forcing Italy to work it up the field. However, it works for them and they get the turnover.
And Austria now forced to work it up the full length of the field, something that they haven't been able to do easily so far, dealing with the hard man defense from Italy. Nice forehand break through the middle of the horizontal stack. Steinkluber looks for the dump, finding Haubenwallner. That's pressure defense from Scazzieri, causing the turnover. No call.
Austria,
Italy striking right away.
Austria just has trouble when there's pressure.
Ricci then overthrows Scazzieri. So Austria with another chance.
That last turnover is a catch that the receiver for Austria knows how to make. It isn't close quarters, but there's nothing different other than the fact that the defender was just a little bit closer. Hearing footsteps, hesitating so far for the Austrian offense.
And Italy has been giving Austria the chance back on the break, and they haven't been taking advantage of that. They've proven that once they turn over once, they're prone to do it again. They need to show the Italians that they're able to work it back up the field and punish them for not being able to convert the break. As they turf the disc again, these mental mistakes are very, very costly. Backhand high release for the end zone. Austria not able to recover. Italy now with momentum, up 5-3.
Cipriani puts it over the top. And just, it's a throw that's been very Italian, I should say, throughout this tournament. We saw it in the first game. They get to the end zone, they have tall receivers. Austria's also doing them a favor by fronting them. This goes up and over for the easy reception. Cipriani for Bologna, national junior team in 2009. Handler and captain for the second year in a row for the squad.
See again the high release blade throw, and Austria unprepared to defend that one.
Great for Italy here. They have not skipped a beat without Alice Malega in the lineup after going down with it looked like an ankle injury earlier in this game. And Malega seems so important to them, but it's a testament to the depth of the squad that they continue on, and they're up 5-3.
See again Coach Fogel on your screen. He'll be staying on to play for catch-up the World Ultimate Club Championships. That's the team out of Graz that has actually birthed most of these juniors players in Austria. Very, very strong juniors program on both the boys and the girls side.
Italy has thrown multiple looks against this Austrian offense. Austria looked a little comfortable on that last possession with their offensive line. Regular person-to-person defense here.
Petersdorfer. Forehand break to space. Floating up for Vuti. Vuti dumps back to Meisel. Meisel into Petersdorfer again. She's that strong cutter, able to make catches despite defensive pressure. Stall count getting high. Layout, but the Austrian receiver unable to make the grab. Defensive pressure from the Italians has been the story of the game, and now with a chance to go up 3.
Cecilia Scagliarini from Bologna just runs through the D, gets the block very easily. The pressure from the Italian defense is suffocating.
Looks like there's a call. The dump was wide open. Petersdorfer unable to get back for the dump defense. Frangipani still on that sideline. No dump options, but Scazzieri is fast enough to get open through the middle of the stack and bail her out. High disc now, Petersdorfer going for the D. That was a beautiful defense from Petersdorfer, reaching up with one hand, using her length to get the block.
Petersdorfer in the right position. Throw too high for the receiver.
Immediate IO break to Petersdorfer. And puts up a flick to space to Julia Hopper. Hopper, you see, with the cast on her left hand. She's a left-handed player as well. Laid out earlier in the tournament and broke her finger, but is still gonna play. She's also playing at Worlds. You can find her on the catch-up mixed team. Looks like there's going to be a timeout. Is Austria getting back some momentum, able to convert after the defense. Both teams will talk it over here in Lecco. Back here after the timeout, score is at 5-4. Italy still ahead on offense on this point.
Italy's done a great job in producing this lead. They had the right game plan for the start of this game. Austria's defense is keeping them in it. Italy's had a couple of chances that they could have converted on to extend this lead, and it's anybody's game throughout. Italy with a small advantage. They are missing their star handler, Alice Malega, to an ankle injury. Hopefully she's okay. It would be great if she could come back into this game and play it out. But it looks like Italy also has the stars to make up for it. Frangipane, Cipriani.
Every year of this juniors team, they have improved their ranking, that being Italy. So they're looking to further improve it from the 5th place that they got in Dublin in 2012.
Person-to-person defense from Austria and a host act from Italy. It's going to be about speed versus speed.
Scazzieri gets the dump off to Cipriani.
Scazzieri.
Scazzieri has been the star of the game so far for me. She's a very, very fast receiver. She has throws. Almost turning that one over there, but it's saved by Frangipane, who immediately throws it too far. Looks like there's going to be a call, Brian, a foul from Scazzieri, talking very animatedly with Meisel. So the disc is going to go all the way back to that far sideline.
You can tell why the Austrian game plan was try to make Italy throw it after stall 4. When Italy gets on a run, they get a quick few passes in succession. It's very easy for them to go to the end zone after that. And these Austrian defenders are often lagging behind these deep receivers for Italy.
Scazzieri will bring the disc back in, far sideline. Gets the dump off to Cipriani. Travel call, Cipriani. Taps the disc back in. Into Ricci. Ricci dumping to Frangipane. Frangipane, high backhand all the way across the field to Scazzieri. Cipriani.
You can see how Italy is creating space, a lot of it off the front. There's a huge area for these cutters to go in.
And a drop from Bonfante will give Austria a chance to tie it up. They'll take their time, set up their offense. Cuts coming out of the stack. The stack has not looked too clean here for Austria so far. A tipped disc. Austria saves it, though.
Luck always works out for these Austrians.
It's Rottensteiner with it. Rottensteiner looking dump, finding Brechko. Brechko to Meissner. And that's an easy score from Austria. Ties it up 5-5. We got a game on our hands, Brian.
Where was the Italian defense, Liam? Nobody guarding the receiver in the end zone, and you get beat to the front cone. That's just an awareness issue for this Italian defense, which has normally been producing blocks in this early part of this game.
And Austria, I think, has done a good job of remaining strong and staying with it. They looked to have faltered a bit there when Italy went up 4-2, but now feeling happy, confident, back in this game. Both teams, though, I'd like to see a little more excitement on the sidelines. So you see here the save from earlier in the point. Then the goal from Schmeisser. Or assist thrown by Schmeisser, that is. I think both teams are making a lot of mistakes. More mistakes than we've seen in many of the other women's games so far in the tournament. And they're just mental mistakes. Drops, overthrows. Both teams need to do a good job of cleaning it up. I think the team with less mistakes is going to win this game.
We can talk about strategy, like you said, and I think this goes back to some of our keys. We've talked about strategy. We've talked about their abilities to change things up on the Italian side and make Austria frustrated. But for both squads, it's a mental game. Who can play more confident? Who can play more without a hesitation?
Pole coming in. It's a short pole that will give Italy good field position. Cipriani wants the deep shot. Gets the backhand into Frangipane. Frangipane, no cuts. Still working the disc up that sideline, and they'll throw it into space. They've got Sartori there. Sartori jumps up, and Austrians not able to make a defensive play, so Italy scoring the offensive point, 6-5.
Good job by Italy using their length to throw it deep. We've seen this score multiple times throughout the game to the back of the end zone. On the other hand, Austria on defense are trying to use straight-up marks to prevent the Hucks, but then at the same time, Italy's getting break throws off that are allowing them to get open throws to the end zone. Now, when you use straight-up marks, you're trying to prevent the Hucks, and so as a result, the Cutters are playing underneath. But they're letting the Italian receivers go free, and as a result, when they get broken, Italy has a free moment. They can take the deep shot. They've done it all throughout this game, and that's why they're leading 6-5.
Austria now back on serve. Onus is on them to even it up and finish the momentum that they've been playing with so far. Brechko stops the pull and dumps to Schmeisser.
And this is the zone that we've seen repeatedly from Italy. 3 people around the disc and then 1 playing on the far side handler. We can see that defender hanging out in space, not allowing Austria to dump swing it, but force them to stay on the sideline and have to go through this zone.
Austria is getting pushed back so far. Their handlers are pretty far apart, and the wind has picked up ever so slightly and not giving them a lot of confidence to break open the cup. As you see, Petersdorfer has actually jumped back into the handler set. She's going upfield again.
And Austria going into the slight wind. That can pop up discs.
Handlers need to stay closer together. They're not willing to make that cross-field swing pass that would really open up their offense. And Italians will just keep making them, although, as I'm saying that, Austrians really seeming to flow pretty well now. They're up around midfield again.
A lot of teams like to use the arounds to go around a zone and dump swing. There are 2 other ways to go through zones, and that's through or over the top. The Austrians have 1 way and now going over the top.
Petersdorfer with a nice throw. And that's 2 blades to space, so Austrians making it easy, tying it up 6-6. Lena Kreins with another reception, her 2nd of the day.
Great offensive possession by Austria. It starts out with them being conservative, and they needed to build that confidence to have them be able to complete consecutive passes through this zone. They were able to dump swing it at times, but also when Italy was trying to trap them on the sideline, they stayed cool, they stayed collective, got pushed back, and then you saw them figure it out. They went through the zone a little bit. They had Petersdorfer come back, and then they went over the top of the zone, and they found the open receivers. That's how you want your zone offense to function. You don't need to get through the zone on the first pass. You need to be able to go around it and then find the open receiver downfield, which busts it open and go off to the races.
This Austrian team returns most of the players from the U17 squad that won gold at the European Youth Ultimate Championships in Dublin. There were only 3 teams in the female division and the girls division at that championship, so it's great to see girls ultimate growing in Europe and more teams participating. So this year the girls have grown up. They're 2 years older, and they've decided to compete as a U19 team.
There's been 2 breaks in this game, 1 for both sides. Italy got the first one early. In a tight game. Looking for those adjustments. And we talked about it earlier, Liam. You were saying which team can execute better from this out. Throws and catches. Not necessarily about strategy, throws and catches. Who can complete more of those. Can be pretty simple at times, but that's what your team mentally needs to focus on.
Frangipani was completely isolated. She's been finding Scazzieri as her bailout. Scazzieri gets it done there. That's the other Frangipani with it now. That's Elisa Frangipani. There's 2 sisters on this team, both now on the same line. Frangipani will put it to space and a layout, but a drop from Eleonora Monaco.
Hesitation on the play by the receivers. They didn't know which one of them should have gone for it. And it looks like there's also a call on the field.
Lots of calls so far in this game. Actually, it looks like it's retracted, so disc will stay. And Austria will pick up. It's Julia Schmeisser.
Despite all of Schmeisser's earlier mistakes, she has the ability now to put Austria up a break and go towards half.
I watched Schmeisser play at the Chuck Bronson 100-year anniversary tournament in Austria last year. She was very effective for the mixed team, Wunda team. Austria, though, turns it over. And Italy off to the races. Frangipani with it now. Looking for that backhand, but it's not there. Finds Ricci underneath. Layout again from Elisa Ricci. And Ricci backhand for the score. Italy will keep it. Cecilia Scagliarini from Bologna with the score for Italy. Italy going up by 1.
I think Austria can afford to change things up here on defense. They've been getting beat to the cone, which is one of the first things you're taught not to do. Have them beat you some other way. And they're getting beat deep a lot of the time. They're still in this game, which is great. But I feel like they can make a couple of defensive adjustments, change up their looks a little bit like Italy has, and they're going to be more effective in the later stages of the first half and then into the second half.
See the layout save from Ricci. There are actually 2 Riccis playing on that line and also 2 Frangipanis, making it very difficult for us commentators. But as is the case, you see with many European countries, there's whole families that play Ultimate, and it runs in their blood, so to speak. As you see Frangipani, one of the sisters, Elisa and Maria Chiara, that have both been big contributors for the Italian team. Check out the World Junior Ultimate Championships Friday newsletter that was just posted. We got Sky correspondent Adam Lerman doing a great job with that newsletter. Check out what happened in yesterday's action. Good pull from the Italians, centered from Brechko to Schmeisser.
Zone from the Italians, and you can see right now 3 people around the disc, 1 defender trying to occupy the swing space, leaving 3 people only downfield. If Austria can find this space wide open downfield, they'll have the advantage.
Winter's going to send it deep, but Frangipani is there and has body position. Hopper skies Frangipani for the reception. Hopper with the broken finger, getting it done deep. Brechko looking for the backhand break. Kynes with it. Again, though, the Austrian end zone is very chaotic. Petersdorfer puts it to space for Kynes. 3rd goal of the game for Kynes as Austria ties it up 7-7. And Brian, as promised, between these 2 evenly matched teams, this is turning out to be a very close game.
Just a bad decision by Austria, but it works out. And that's what happens when you have athletes. You can put the disc up. For the first time, Austria broke through the zone. Italy transitioned. The cutter was too deep. Hopper was too deep already. The throw goes up anyway. Hopper comes underneath and just beats the defender to the spot. This is what defending 101 needs to be about. You do not have to play the disc in this situation. You can play the person you are guarding. As long as Hopper doesn't have position, the Italian defender can box out, have no problem, not really worry about whether or not she catches the disc.
How about these Italian jerseys, Brian? These have been a hot trading item so far. Very nice with the triangles. Any other jerseys that you found appealing from all the teams at this tournament?
I'm actually pretty disappointed in the jerseys at this tournament, Liam. I think a lot of times with the standard country jerseys, a lot of people like to go plain. We have a timeout out in the field. And it's an important point in the game for Austria. You're tied at 7. You can get a defensive line out there and go through and hopefully get the block.
Take another look at the sky from Hopper. The right hand.
Frangipani just watching the disc, not knowing where the receiver is. Hopper has room to come around her right side.
Then Petersdorfer to Kynes. That's the second time we've seen that connection. So both teams will talk it over going into half here in Lecco.
This stream was brought to you by
Sky the magazine.
Sky Magazine.
Sky D Magazine.
Sky Magazine.
Sky
Magazine.
So coming in after the timeout, this game has stayed close. Both teams matching each other blow for blow. Lots of mistakes, but mistakes from both teams. And neither team able to establish a real rhythm so far.
When you come down to it, a lot of unforced turnovers. We've seen a couple of nice blocks from both sides. At the end of the tail of the tape shows us one break for each team. Italy receiving with a chance, if they hold and trade off, to take half.
Cipriani. Forehand into Frangipane. Cipriani's got those big forehand, backhand fakes. Isdo getting called often for the travel. Scagliarini back to Cipriani.
Good defense so far by Austria, but that cut has come around the front of the stack multiple times, leaving Frangipane open.
Scagliarini. So far, it's only been 3 players moving it up the disc. Moving up the field for Italy. Austria with a chance for the D. Looks like a travel called on the throw. Disc back to Cipriani. Cipriani finding Frangipane. Italians with lots of speed getting open at will.
Very active mark, switching the force. Back and forth, looks like a forced middle from Austria.
Ricci. Good offensive possession now for the Italians. Lots of patience. Cipriani into space for Scazzieri. Very nice throw into space. Scazzieri to Frangipane, right outside of the end zone. About 2 meters away, and they'll get it into Frangipane for the score. End zone defense lacking for the Austrians.
A lack of teamwork, really, with the marks and then the receivers downfield. It looked like they were in a forced middle for a little bit, but then they kept the force for a while. It was very confusing to understand how they were playing on this point. Very active marks, a lot of breaks by the Italians. It seemed like the Austrians are going for the hand block. And as a result, when you go for the hand block, it allows for Italy to just throw whatever they want, as opposed to just taking away those high backhand throws. In this situation, you could easily hard force flick and keep the Austrian marks from being so flat. Italy has the length, and even for Cipriani, who's a little bit smaller, she's able to get the high arcing backhand off every single time.
And the stalls have been getting high for the Austrians versus the Italians. The Italians, though, have always had that bailout. They've always had Scazzieri there, or they've always been someone to bring it off the front of the stack.
That front of the stack cut is very typical of this Italian squad. And what we see normally happen is we have the handler back, we have the dump. A cutter can make the cut to the break side, and then as a result of the defender giving a lot of chase and overcommitting, the Italian receiver can curl around the front of the stack or make what we call a J cut. In that situation, they're wide open, going up the field. The pass can be thrown out in front. Italy with the easy catch. That often leads to power position, a huck, or another completion.
Prechko now working with Schmeisser against the man defense. Into Hopper. Hopper looking dump. The dump cut's not there, and she'll have to find the bailout. Luckily, though, Kathi Meisel able to bail it out. Schmeisser, nice one-handed catch. Low throw and layout. Not able to save it, though, as it bounces right off her chest, and Schmeisser rushed that one. She had time. She had a receiver on the break side, but Austria now forced to play defense and stop Italy from taking half.
Turnovers, unfortunately, piling up for Schmeisser. A lot of overthrows in this half early on. This was led to the Italian break. And here, the Italian defense has a chance to convert. Call on the play.
So disc will go back. Turnover will not stand. Scazzieri, so fast, has been the difference maker in this game for the Italians. They're able to use her as a reset. She's able to cut anywhere on the field that she wants and always gets free. Austrians have their best defender on her, Petersdorfer. It's actually switching off now to Frangipani. Another call. Travel called on Frangipani.
Italians getting a little frustrated, but to tell you the truth, they have a little bit case of happy feet. They don't keep the pivot foot.
And that's a D. Looks like there'll be another call, though, as we'll go back for the third time.
The Austrians are focused on the Italian feet. Calling travels instead of actually focusing in the market can be one of those double-edged sword situations where, as a result of looking at the feet, you're not playing real defense.
Big throw going up, and Austrians will control that one. Prechko with it as Austria looks to get into their offense. Vutti for Schmeisser. Schmeisser with the speed to track down the disc and tie it up at 8-8. Next point will take it to half, Brian.
This is the closest game we've had all tournament. Great here in the women's quarterfinal so far. Both teams with a break, like we've talked about. Italy came out with a game plan of throwing multiple defenses. Austria said, the coaches said before the game, we're going to run our zone, we're going to run our junk zone and see how it works to try to contain. They ran at one point, and then that was it. And we've seen person-to-person defense from the Austrians ever since.
Both of these teams are very evenly matched. As we mentioned before the start of the game, the teams faced off at the European Youth Ultimate Championships in Heilbronn in the semifinals last year. Italy did win that game. Austria, though, feeling, as we talked to coaches Babsi and Valentin before the game, that their girls had improved quite a bit. Every single girl from that team in Heilbronn has returned to the team, and they've picked up a couple more as well from the U17 squad.
Earlier in this game, we can't, I don't think, overstate it how big of a loss Alice Malega is to this Italian squad. The first game we did at this tournament, opening round, Malega, playing for Italy against Ireland, touched the disc sometimes every other throw. When you have a player like that, Malega, so tall, able to break the defense, it just makes things easier. And now Italy forced to play with people a little bit out of position.
Frangipani gets it up to Scazzieri. Back to Cipriani. Cipriani into Frangipani. Italy running a very tight rotation. You see the same players on the offensive and defensive lines every time. Cipriani to space, finding Frangipani. There's a call, though, back to Maria Frangipani, near sideline.
The Austrian strategy is to call these travels repeatedly, and as a result, Italy cannot go into their normal disc movement, which is quick movement that leads to hucks. It's slowing the game down.
Frangipani trying to find the dump to Cipriani. Run through D from Petersdorfer. Petersdorfer going deep now. Schmeisser with it. Can she box out? And she does. And Austria gets the break and takes half with the momentum going into the second half of this game.
First lead of the game for the Austrians. You can see the strategy. They got comfortable. Italy took an early break off of them. The offense got comfortable. They've been rolling. The Austrian defense has picked it up, slowed down this Italian offense, and that's why they have the 1-point lead going into the second half.
Lena Kreins with the block, leading to the break for Austria. Ryan and I will take a short pause here at our coverage of the quarterfinals matchup in the U19 women's division between Italy and Austria as we see again this D from Kreins in the deep shot. And then the shot into the end zone for Schmeisser, her second goal in the row. She boxes out to go up for this one. Stay tuned as we'll be going up for a halftime interview. Otherwise, Brian and I will be with you after the break.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Ultimate Globetrotter. We're here on Boracay Island in the Philippines, home of the Beach Ultimate Kings of Asia, the fierce and speedy Boracay Dragons.
I think running on the sand's going to get easier, but it doesn't.
So we are on our way to check out some cockfighting.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Boracay Open has always been the turf of the Dragons.
Most of the players are based here in the island. It's second nature to them to run on the beach.
When we train almost every day.
High knees in the water, swimming, sprinting on the beach. Do this after every single practice.
You know, it's what they do. They're beach ultimate players.
Movement is like I 1 and 2.
The only thing we ask from them is to train. Train hard and play hard.
Come on, younger boy.
You have to think that this is already the championship game.
You have to aggressively send your kite back to 12, pull the bar.
We're here at Mandala Spa and Villas, about to receive an world-class massage.
It's not just about the game, it's also about our lifestyle here in the island.
The Dragons are the beach kings of Asia and maybe the world soon. It's now time also for us to share to the world what we know about Beach Ultimate.
Hi everyone, I'm standing here with the Austrian coach Valentin Vogel, and it's been a really close game so far. What do you think Italy's biggest strength in this game is?
They let this go at low stall counts all the time.
and that's what we want to stop. So when they throw at 1 or 2, it's really difficult to defend. They have to flow. We want to try to stop them, to let them play a slow offense, and then we have a good chance to score a defense on them.
Eventually, Austria took the halftime. What are you planning to do to keep the score up for you guys?
Just keep on playing. Some of the girls are a bit nervous. I think that's going to be better in the second half. Keep on the defensive pressure. I don't think that Italy can compete with that pressure in the last point in the second half, and I'm sure we're going to win it then.
All right. Thank you for the interview. Stay tuned for the second half. We're going to be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Good luck.
Bei der Europameisterschaft. Österreich, England, das waren nicht ewig dahingegangen. Ich glaube, es waren 9-3 hinten und haben dann auch 13-12. Aber jetzt kommt die berühmte zweite Hälfte von Österreich, die
No, we don't have to go all. No. What happened? Is it ankle? Twisted ankle? Posso giocare?
Sì, posso, adesso entro.
Ok, va bene. Ok, grazie. E tu?
Hai tutto? Hai vinto?
Solo sì.
Okay, thank you. What the hell? I could have just asked you.
That's what I asked you to do. All I wanted to do was ask you. Yeah, no,
Coming in here, second half of action, Lecco, Italy. You see the mountains there in the background. Nice day, about 22, 23 degrees Celsius. I'm Liam Rosen here with Brian Jones. We're announcing the quarterfinal match between Italy and Austria. Let's take a look, Brian, at some of the keys to the game that we went over before the game. Has Italy been able to do these three things?
mental game confidence-wise, they've shown it, especially with Alice Malega going down. We just got an injury update. Twisted ankle. She'll be back in this game, already on the field playing in the second half. They haven't been able to really stop Cranes and Petersdorfer. They did a good job in the beginning, and they did a great job of switching up the defensive looks, which gave them the early break. However, in this second half, it's going to be about their offense being consistent.
Now, what about Austria on the other hand? We had 3 keys to the game for them as well.
They did a good job of actually figuring out how to slow Italy down. It's been involved with travel calls. And what's happening is this Italian team has happy feet. They're moving around before throwing the disc to get breaks off. Austria calling the travel, resetting the play, making Italy doing it again. Austria keeping it fun and intense. I think we could see a little bit more out of them. The junk zone was something we expected to see, and they used it for 1 point, Liam. They haven't used it since. They've been adjusting so far to try to slow Italy down with other means.
Both teams switching sides for half, so Austria will be serving to Italy. 8-9 is the score. Austria with the score in the break to bring it into halftime, perhaps with a bit of momentum going into the second half. Game, as we predicted before, has stayed very close. As you mentioned, Brian, I'd like to see a bit more energy from both teams. The sidelines are starting to fill up as people are cheering. I want to hear more sideline talk, though, more cheering. I want to see this game get intense. It's a close game, but it hasn't felt as intense as it could have been so far.
And great strategically on the other side. This has been our most competitive game, but adjustments by both teams. You've seen that so far. And coming in the second half, this is usually when a lot of the less experienced teams makes those adjustments. We'll have to see what they do.
Frangipani overthrowing her sister. Austria picking the disc up, so a first throw turnover from Italy.
Frangipani holding her hands to her head after that. She had an opportunity to jump for it, missed time to jump.
Meisser's got to put it deep right away. That's Schmeisser to Petersdorfer. Austria with another break, and that's their largest lead of the game, up 10-8.
Great start for Austria. Get power position, do a fast break off of the turnover. Great job of hitting the deeps. The Italian defenders can do a better job of reading the disc and getting back there.
So Austria will walk back to the line, feeling a bit more confident after that one.
Looking at Trixie Petersdorfer, been one of the players to watch, number 17 on this Austrian squad. Coach is saying everybody in Austria knows her, one of the most popular players, and you can see why.
She was also the top scorer at the U23 World Championships, which is very impressive feat considering her age. And that was among all teams in the women's division.
Time for Italy to respond on offense. It's going to be important for their mental game. They've gotten a little bit shaken, giving up the break for half, and now, as a result, giving a break just out of half. Good momentum for Austria.
Here comes the cheering from the sidelines. Italy putting the disc into play. Cipriani, wind picked up a bit, about 8 to 10 kilometers per hour, finding Scazzieri. Scazzieri wants to put that one deep, and Italy wide open deep. But receiver unable to get there, just slides out of Lavinia Reccioni's hands.
When Austria was making mistakes early in the game, the defense kept them in it. And now it's important for Italy. You're at a disadvantage. Alice Malega has not tested that ankle at full speed. Yet in the second half, she went down with an ankle injury back in the game, number 2. In the back of the stack, as Austria is getting ready to set up, the Italians keep themselves in this game with good defense, but it's been 2 consecutive breaks. The Austrians are rolling. Important for Italy to respond now. They don't have much time.
So Plechko. Austria all the way up, on the roll now. Losing her balance is Kama. Kama finding Plechko. Plechko forehand into Pashinga. To Meisel. Meisel Finding Kleinz under. Kleinz with a blade. Layout from Austria, but too close to that sideline. It looks like there's going to be a foul, though, on the throw, so it'll be coming back to Lena Kleinz.
Opportunity for Austria after the foul on the throw. Kreins has been one of the people that Italy wanted to stop, along with Petersdorfer. And Petersdorfer has gotten unleashed in the later stages of the first half. Kreins, on the other hand, has been a little quiet.
Kleinz gets it off the line to Hotsteiner. Meisel now with it, getting tripped up on Cipriani. Plechko. There's a call downfield, looks like a pick in the stack.
Italy can reset on Petersdorfer.
Disc kept checked in. Brechko wanted the around break, finally gets it. It's high, but is tracked down by Steingruber. Brechko. Kleinz, she's been huge with those one-handed catches. Stall count getting high. Kleinz, though, able to activate the dump. Meisel to Brechko. Brechko, no cuts downfield, forced to go dump again. Finally finds Kramer open up field. Kramer for the score. Linda Gürtel towing the end zone line for Austria. Austria up by 3 now, 11-8.
Confidence, confidence, confidence. When you're Austria, at the beginning of this game, you were missing throws, you were missing catchable passes to you, and now twice in a row, the throw is a little high. But no matter for the receivers, they're able to take it in and get the goal.
It's going to be a timeout from the Italian team as Austria breaks twice out of half to bring the game to 11-8.
Game of minute!
Unsere Burschen müssen immer fragen, die wollen nicht selbst was machen. Perfekt doch.
Back after the timeout called by Italy, wanting to talk things over after Austria on a run.
On a 4-0 run, Liam, they got the score to tie it up at 8. Italy seemed to control this game, and then 3 straight breaks have opened up the lead in the second half. Austria doing it by slowing down the Italian offense. Italy looks a little dazed. They haven't been going to their fast breaks. Alice Malega on the sideline in the first half after the ankle injury, now back in the game. Not sure what she can provide, but we'll get a chance to look here.
Well, Schmeisser to Cipriani, and Malega, as you said, with the disc right now.
Austria throwing a zone, and we see the junk look that we were expected the entire game long.
Cipriani throwing it to Scazzieri. She's got speed. Can she catch up? She does. So Italy making it look easy, and cheering now. Scazzieri so fast. Undoubtedly the MVP of this game for the Italians.
Italy, great job of going through the weakness and putting it up to your fastest receiver. And shame on Austria. You're playing a defense with two deeps. Two, and you can hear it in the word when I say two deeps, Liam. What is your job? Do not get beat deep. And right away, first throw after the centering pass, Scazzieri, we know she's fast. She's been a goal-scoring extraordinaire in this game, and yet she's wide open deep. Austria has to do a better job.
Put from Cipriani. Bit of a tough one right over the head of Scazzieri, but Scazzieri with no problem tracking it down.
I think the call strategically from Austria was fine, but the execution was poor defensively. Your goal is to make Italy beat you by taking multiple passes, taking their time, and instead you let them do what they want to do to their best receiver, which is Scazzieri. So if you're Austria, maybe go back to man defense if you can't execute it. Maybe stick with that if you think you can adjust. It's going to be important in the second half. Italy getting back to their comfort zone.
So difference of 2, Austria still up 11-9 as Italy pulls to the Austrian women for an offensive stand. Italy throwing his own.
4-person cup. You can see the 4 people around the disc, 2 people just after that playing what we call the hammer stop position. Austria is spreading the field right now, doing a good job. Before, you can tell Austria likes to dump swing the disc. They like to be patient, and Italy has tried to get them out of that and tried to make them go over the top. When the disc gets to Petersdorfer and to Kreins, they have the ability to put it over the top and open up the field.
And Petersdorfer does that right now, crashing the cup from the popper position and breaking the zone open. Petersdorfer backhand over the top to Steingruber. Man defense from the Italians as they break down. After half, Austrians, though, turn it over on another unforced dump throw error.
Tight defense by the Italians, face guarding.
Cipriani will put it up. She's got 2 receivers. D, though, from the Austrians, Kati Meisel.
There's going to be a foul called in the play on the throw.
So foul called. Disc will come all the way back to Cipriani. The foul was on the Huck.
I'm still scoring at the arena because the arena game was
So disc will go back. Looks like there's some discussion. Cutters, although actually it looks like the foul will be retracted.
Either a foul or a travel, unsure what happened there. Nonetheless, this is going to stay with Austria.
Petersdorfer in the center. Gets it into Kreins, the youngest player on this Austrian squad. Kreins, floaty dump! Defense from Italy! Monaco with the D on the floaty dump pass from Austria. And Scagliarini puts it up right away. Reccioni with it, just 2 meters outside of the end zone. Chaotic end zone offense from Italy. Cipriani working with it. Cipriani, floaty blade, but Petersdorfer's there, and another D from the Austrians.
Great read by Petersdorfer.
Exciting point, but both teams need to calm it down. Into Hopper. Hopper finding Kreins.
I love the clear out play we just saw from Austria, opening up cutters in isolation.
Hopper, far sideline. Hopper looking for the up line. Gets it into Brechko.
Brechko thought twice, almost 3 times for that break to open space.
She puts it up this time. She likes Petersdorfer versus Scazzieri and Petersdorfer with the sky.
Scazzieri walks away frustrated. Petersdorfer just a little bit more height, able to get over the top of Scazzieri. Scazzieri, nothing to hang your head about. That's a tough play going away from the disc.
Trixie Petersdorfer, no doubt that she was the top scorer in the women's division. in Toronto at under 23 Worlds last year. Using her height advantage, going up, she's been Austria's bailout. Let's take another look at that throw from Brechko.
Didn't like the backhand, wanted the forehand.
Petersdorfer with one hand skying Scazzieri from behind. So Austria rolling and Italy visibly frustrated, talking on the line after that last point. Italy, as I mentioned before, is running a very tight rotation. The same players are playing nearly every point.
It's getting frustrating for them. It's a very dangerous part of this game because this is where they talked about their mental toughness coming into play. They need to have the good feeling throughout it as we see a zone, the junk zone look from Austria. We see the clam defense. You can see the 3 people playing on the handlers and then 2 defenders switching off underneath, constantly face guarding.
Frangipane and Milega working with the handlers on the zone.
I really like this look from Austria, and the reason I like it is that the handler defenders are poaching off and staying very flat. It's allowing for most of the dumps back, but it's not really allowing for anything else. And here you can see, instead of playing normal person-to-person defense in this junk zone, they're giving a little bit more in terms of just letting the 3 handler covers play together and form almost a loose cup.
Italy, meanwhile, gaining some yards. Frangipane and Milega, they've been consistently able to get about 5 or 6 yards on that far sideline. Staying very patient.
I think what Austria needs to do a little bit better to adjust this zone is they need to just back off the handlers and be patient.
Nice find from the Scagliarini sisters as the backhand is put up to Scazzieri for her umpteenth goal in this game.
This game is turning into Petersdorfer versus Scazzieri, Liam. Scazzieri has scored almost every single goal for the Italians, it seems like, throughout this game, and Petersdorfer is keeping them in it.
12-10. Italy relying very heavily on their CUSP Bologna shout players, 8 players from that team. Women's champions of Italy the past 2 years form the core of the Italian women's team.
Going back to that zone look as we look at the replay here, Scazzieri wide open in the end zone, just easy throw for the Italians who love putting those high backhands to space. Looking at that zone, you saw a lot of aggressiveness. As soon as Austria saw the handlers get the disc, they would try to close in on the mark and try to basically decrease the gap between them and the thrower. The problem with that is the length of the Italians allows them to break the mark exceptionally well. And when you come in close, you lose all of the angle advantage you had by staying back, say, about 5 meters. If they were able to stay just a little bit more flat and let Italy go through the zone, you would slow the game down. That's exactly what the coaches wanted to do. I think they need to just play back off a little bit more and let the handlers just pass it amongst themselves. We've seen in this tournament, if you force teams to move it side to side enough, they will turn it over.
So a short pull from Italy will give Austria very good field position. Julia Schmeiser picks up the disc.
Inverted cup. We can see here it's going to be a force back to the middle of the field, and it turns into a flat zone straight up in the middle of the field.
What a rip from Schmeiser to find Paschinger, and then Kreins in the end zone.
The velocity coming through. There's no chance for the defense to adjust, and that's what happens when you quickly swing it against a zone like this. If the defenders aren't wide enough against the inverted cup, you don't get over, don't have a chance to cover. Quick thinking leads to an easy goal.
Fantastic field vision from Julia Schmeiser, not content with working it up a little bit at a time. Big rip for the score. Austria back up by 3. Let's take another look at this one. It's the swing to Schmeiser. And the bullet pass to to Veronica Boschinger, who easily flips it to Kreins for the goal.
We need the radar gun over from the VC tent, Liam. They have one set up. I was able to hit 96 kilometers per hour on that thing. Didn't break 100, was trying to go for it.
I may be trying that out later to try to best your score.
I wonder if Schmeiser, what she would hit on the gun there. That was a lot of velocity in that backhand. I'm sure that when we get the Ironside players, Brandon Malachek out here, I'm pretty sure he can throw up into the 80-mile-per-hour range, something like 116, 120 kilometers per hour. I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit it on the gun.
Schmeiser with the pull. This is a critical point for the Italians coming up here on 13-10. They really need to put this one in. If Austria goes up 4, that's going to be a big deficit for the Italians to overcome.
I like
an immediate D from Julia Hoppa.
Hopper poaches the lane effectively, gives it right back to the Austrians.
So Austria right outside the end zone to Schmeiser. Schmeiser into Hubbard. Turnover, though.
The Italians were in a precarious position and still are. They have to get this point. You can't go down 14-10 this late in the game with cap looming.
There's a call on the field. Disc, though, checked back into play. Inside out break from the Italians. They're going to put it deeper right away to who else? Scazzieri. She can't track it down, though. The wind going from right to left on your screen floated a bit too far for her.
Wind is picked up, certainly up to 5 to 10 kilometers per hour at this point in time. Compared to a very still game, could create a lot of turnovers and a very important point for the Italians.
Haubenwallner to Schmeiser. To Hoflacher. Call on the field. Possible injury. It looks like Frangipani was stepped on. She'll be okay, though. She'll stay on.
There can be a danger when you're trying to do too much, and we talked about the keys to the game, switching up defensive looks for the Italians. They're now in person-to-person defense. Sometimes you do a little bit too much, and into the second half, you want to settle on a strategy often, and it just hasn't been working out. They haven't gotten the same hesitation from the Austrian offense, haven't been able to make them uncomfortable like they did in the early stages of the first half.
Schmeiser trying to get it off the line. Good dump defense from the Italian. Schmeiser's forced to put it deep. Austrian player Hopper not able to lay out and save that one. Looks like there's a discussion on the field. Not sure if there was a foul called.
Hopper, though, Hopper could have gotten that disc.
Absolutely.
And you
see it laid out.
But and what I'm surprised about, and the Italian defenders don't even try to go for it. There's no foul on the play. But the Italian defenders just let it watch as if it was going to surely go out of bounds. There was room to make a play, and I think we're starting to see a fatigue factor for the Italians. They play the same 7 players almost every single point. They had a lot of strength in those, very talented, but it's those minutes add up.
Disc check back in. Ricci backhand, high release. Scazzieri getting open deep again, but Scagliarini didn't trust herself to throw it deep this time.
Also, a call in the field looks like a pick. Austria would be well served to have a deep defender always poaching Scazzieri. Straight up marks instead, trying to prevent the hucks.
Frangipani into her sister, Elisa. Big dump, floaty disc, overthrow. Possible foul call from Frangipani.
Frangipani saying she got hit in the arm from our vantage point. There looked like there was some contact. Not sure how exactly it happened. The disc was thrown behind Frangipani, the defender coming into the area.
The question is, would she have had the chance to make a play on that disc? That's the hard conversation one has to have in these situations.
And as we've talked about, this is becoming more and more of a marathon point, a lot of sloppy mistakes. Italy needs this point. I don't think they can win the game without staying in this one and getting the score.
So foul call discussion will leave the disc contested. A big backhand. That's going to be a hospital pass floating out of bounds. Did the Italian receiver toe the line? Very, very hard to tell. They'll appeal to the sideline. Scazzieri didn't see it.
The receiver's initial feet point of contact were in before the catch was made. I'm not sure if she landed on her knees before coming out of bounds.
The sideline didn't see it. I think the most prudent thing to do in this situation would be to send the disc back, and that's what they're going to do here. Let's take a look at the replay. It looks like she was in.
It's very tough to tell. The one question is the left knee on that replay. If it hit before catching the disc, the out of bounds, this one looks really close to call. I think the feet were in. Just a question of that first point of contact.
Another floaty huck from Frangipani. She's got to sit those down a bit. Austria, though, no problem to D this one. So Schmeisser will take her time on offense. Gets the upline overthrow. Italy controls. Malega wants to pick up right away. Malega into Frangipani. Frangipani has no mark. Finding Scagliarini. Scagliarini. High release backhand. Deed by Schmeisser. Scazzieri saves it though. And Scazzieri finds Ilaria Bonfante for the score. That's just a case of not catching your Ds.
Right through. Pinballed through three people. Tipped multiple times. Italy still comes up with it. A point they absolutely needed to stay in this game, Liam. Scazzieri just happens to be the one around the disc, as always. And before that, the throw, what is it? It's a high-release backhand. The Italians have thrown this repeatedly throughout the game. The Austrians could do a good job here in the later stages adjusting to it and taking it away.
So Italy will talk it over on the line. See that throw again. The high-release backhand double blocks, but Scazzieri coming up with it.
1, 2, 3, and catch.
I think it actually rebounded off of the head of Anna Hoflacher. Shout out to those from Italy and Austria, again, watching this game. You can send us tweets. I'm at skied_Liam Rosen. Brian at no_look_Scuber. Send us what you think of this game. We may choose some of your tweets and read them out live on the air.
Not a very deep pull from Italy. And it doesn't hang as much. Doesn't allow the defense to set up. Gives Austria some time.
Schmeisser to Kreins. Italy in another zone. It's a pretty tight cup. Floaty throw goes up. Austria, though, controls. Nice catch from Brechko under pressure.
That's exactly the throw that the Italian zone would love to force and get the D on. Just a well-executed throw.
Another high throw from Schmeisser. Austrians have been good with those blades to open up the field. Very, very close now, almost jogging it in. And that was too easy on the end zone offense from the Austrians.
Italians are lacking energy, and they need a timeout call before their next defensive stand if they're going to get back in this game. They're down by 3, and we talked about it earlier. The Italian zone was working because Austria wanted to go around it. And again, they throw the 3-person cup with the 1 defender hanging out in the far side handler space. Austria does a good job of figuring out they can go over the top of the zone and see a jog in. There's no effort from the Italians to get back, and that can be a factor of fatigue, which is a matter of running so tight lines through and through. They need to find a spark because somebody needs to make a play that wakes them up. You're in quarterfinals. It's an elimination game. Just no effort, jogging behind the play to get back into this, and Austria unmarked for 3 to 4 throws. It's unacceptable.
So Austria with a chance to make it 4. Italy, though, on offense. One more time. One interesting story that was related to us by Coach Vogel about this Austrian team at the last European Youth Ultimate Championships in Dublin. Since there weren't enough women's teams or girls teams in the U17 division, they actually had to play in the U20 division. They lost against the USA 15-0, and the team sat down after that game. They were feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, and there was a storm. A tree about a foot in diameter actually fell on the team during the Spirit Circle. We see a foul on the throw, or travel and throw back to Cipriani. Although the tree fell on the girls, no one was injured. There were just a couple of scratches on both sides. The girls could have collapsed at that moment. It was a very frustrating situation for them, but instead they rebounded and ended up taking gold in the tournament. Another foul on the throw. So just an example of the Austrians' mental resilience and why Coach Vogel believes his girls have the chance to make it to the semis this year. And they're certainly on their way with a 3-point lead on Austria.
Malega, a name we have not called as much as we expected.
After the ankle injury, perhaps having a bit of trouble getting back into the game. Cipriani, nice upline pass. Thinks about putting it deep right away. Back into Frangipani. Cipriani anchoring that offense. And Cipriani again to Scazzieri.
And what do you know? It's a high release backhand to Scazzieri for the score. I don't know that we've seen that one before this game, Liam.
It's definitely the Italians' favorite throw as they bring it to within 2. Shout out to the man on the bike, the man with his shirt off that keeps riding through your screen. Evident Austrian supporter going through and pumping up the women's team as they continue to fight in this game. Stay tuned for our semifinals matchup in the Open Division, Germany versus Canada.
Canada coming off a game against France in the Open Division where they had to play a little tougher than expected, actually down later in the game, winning by 2. Italian offense has functioned very well in this game when they break the mark, and the Austrians have just not been able to really contain those marks, but gotten blocks by slowing the offense down. They've done a good job of that, but when it gets towards the end zone, they bite very hard in the forehand fake, leaving the backhand side open.
So Italians getting set to pull. And on defense, it's the same line that we're used to. Italians are very notorious across every division for playing very tight lines when it comes down to critical games. In this one, facing elimination, 2 points down to Austria.
And what have we seen across divisions, Liam? It's been about depth. Every single time the deeper team wins.
Petersdorfer breaks to Steingruber, finding Vuti. Back to Petersdorfer. She's been solid open cut. Petersdorfer over the top of the stack to Kynes. It's the 3rd time we've seen that connection in this game. Austria putting another one on the board, 15-12. And Italians need to get a break soon if they're going to win this game.
And heading back to the line, Scazzieri has hands on the head, breathing hard. The players are walking slowly, heads are down. Italy doesn't have the energy to get back in this game. It's unfortunate for them. They needed to be as efficient as possible.
These are situations where you might try just replacing a couple players on the line with some of the less experienced players. On offense, maybe not. If you do get the chance for a defensive point, that's where you have to do it. Give the 7 to 10 players that have been playing all of these points some rest.
Even at only 2 games a day schedule for these squads, it's still a long week at the 6th day in the tournament. Injuries can add up. Not much of a break. There are other players that we saw in the Ireland game, Calza on the sideline, that could maybe come in and give some fresh legs to this Italian squad. It's going to be important for them to find a way to fight through.
Malega to Cipriani. Hard mark. Cipriani gets it out to Scazzieri. Nice find from Cipriani. Scazzieri, though, needs to find the dump. She does, getting it up line to Malega. Malega, same throw. That's a floaty backhand to Frangipani. Italians making it look easy again for the offensive point. Bring it again to within 2. But still, their defensive line needs a break.
Within 2, you have to go now. You have to get one of these breaks. You can't afford to make it 16-13. Timeout now would be a great opportunity for the Italians to really rev up the intensity, go down the field, and try for it all, because this is a universe point, I think, for Italy. I think you can afford, if you make it 15-14, you can afford to let Austria score another one and maybe make a run. You need this point. You absolutely need this one.
So we see the nice find from Cipriani to Scazzieri, using her velocity to catch up to that one. Both teams' handlers play very similar styles. They rely on bladey throws to space to move their offense. And it's no wonder these teams are so evenly matched.
Ihr könnt spulen! So, Sie haben die Scheibe.
Critical defensive point for the Italians, getting ready to pull. By the way, as we're coming down to the end of this game, make sure to go on skydmagazine.com, check out our Friday newsletter to see what happened in yesterday's action. Not a great pull from the Italians. They'll give Austria a very good field position.
Person defense.
Brechko, powerful break to Kynes. To Meissner. Schmeisser, I'm sorry. Schmeisser finding Meissel. Foul called. There's a bump on the mark. Meissel finding Vuti. Dumps back to Brechko. Vuti with it again. Vuti, high blade. And every goal now being scored in the same way. Austrian sidelines cheering now.
With cap on, Austrians looks like they have taken the game.
An unfortunate loss for Italy, but a well-played game from Austria to close this one out as both teams congratulate each other in a very hard-fought game. Definitely the most competitive game we've seen so far on the stream, Brian.
Great game, and just to kind of reset it, how it went, Italy getting the first break, looked like they were going to pull away for a little bit, but they had chances early in that first half. They came back to bite them. They could have extended that lead, and really the middle part is where Austria won it. They went on a 4-0 run. They were down 8-7, tied it on 8 at offense, 3 straight breaks, 2 to open up the second half. Austria maintained that lead, but looking at the players of the game, Petersdorfer on the one side, Trixie Petersdorfer for Austria, and then Scazzieri, just so fast for this Italian squad. And Austria, opportunity, they knew that they would be happy before this game with a 5-8 placement, but now they're going to get at least top 4. Tough task going up against the USA.
This is Liam Rosen and Brian Jones from Sky Magazine's coverage of the World Junior Ultimate Championships here in Lecco, Italy. After the game's conclusion, we're going to throw it down to Adam Lerman. He's got one of the Italian coaches, Eva Artoni, and then Raquel Tojnerova will be interviewing one of the Austria coaches. So stay tuned, and keep in mind as well our next stream starting very soon, Germany versus Canada in the Open Division in the semifinal.
We're going to actually, that game's also going to be delayed. We had a late start this morning at 10. We were expecting the stream to be on at 12:30. We'll probably be back around 1. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Skyed Magazine, skyedmagazine.com for all the updated information.
Deze stream wordt u aangeboden door
Skyed Magazine.
Skyed Magazine.
Skyed? Skyed Magazine.
Skyed Magazine.
Skyed Magazine. Skyed Magazine.
Perfect. Good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Eva, we just saw your team lose a tough game in the quarterfinal. How do you feel about the way your team played in this game?
Well, I think that our girls did everything. I mean, they played like they could. I mean, they did everything they had because I mean they really wanted to win this game and play the semifinal. But of course, we're not happy about this because last year we won against these girls, so we knew that it was a win that we could have achieved. So it's a shame, but I think we have to be satisfied because I mean when you play and you give everything that you have, I mean you have to be satisfied. So it's okay.
And then looking at the tournament as a whole, how do you rate your team's performance?
I think that the result showed that Austria and Italy were the European team closest to the non-European countries. So I think that what we're going to play is the right result. So the tournament went well for us with Colombia and Canada. We were pretty confident, and it went well. But I think we could have achieved the semifinals. So I mean, we can be happy, but not satisfied 100%.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay still. You gotta come open so I can adjust. Yeah, I think we did. They're coming right now. Okay. Rachel, are you ready? Okay, coming in 5, 4, 3.
Hi everyone, I'm standing here with the Austrian coach Babsi and number 17 Trixie, and I'm about to ask you guys, you have a great quarterfinal behind you. What do you think was the winning factor for your team?
I think in the end it was motivation, that we really wanted to win, and I think shortly before the halftime we put a lot of atmosphere, a lot of fire into the game. Also the sideline was suddenly there. I think that changed it. When we are in a good mood, we tend to play very good.
Excellent. Was that the plan? Did you guys expect to come so far, or was it just the deepest hopes?
I think we knew we had the potential, especially after playing the US yesterday. We knew what kind of was possible. We knew if we played our best ultimate, we would win that. Beforehand, we didn't expect to come in the top 4. We knew that top 8 would be the best thing that could happen. Top 4 is much better than we expected.
One question for Trixie. How does it feel to be in the semifinals now?
Oh, it feels so good. I didn't expect it that we would come that far, and so the feeling is so much more nice. And yeah, we fought so hard. The Italians, they also fought so bad, but in the end we had a bit of luck with some of the catches, and yeah, I'm so looking forward for the semifinals. So we will see what we'll do. That what will come.
Awesome. You guys will have your semifinals against Canada. What's the plan?
Well, we will just try to have a good match. We know they're very strong. We'll try to just play our best ultimate. We know that we've achieved everything that we could, and we just want to have a good game, and we'll see what's possible.
Excellent. We wish you guys all the best of luck, and congratulations on the win. Everyone, this is the end of our coverage of this game, and we're going to be coming back to you with the streaming of the Open semifinals, which is going to be featuring Canada versus Germany.